Hey, future me, yo, good to see you again. Hope everything's going well. This is the first video recorded by yours truly in this study guide, and we're going to be going over some journal transactions for a business. So, in this question, we're taking the role of Stellar Stores, and yeah, without further ado, let's get into the question. So, on March 1st, let's write that down. March 1st, we had the transaction of purchasing $9,000 of merchandise for resale from Octagon Wholesaler, terms of 210 and 30, and FOB shipping point. Okay, so let's just get that transaction down. It's inventory because we're purchasing inventory, so it's debited. And then since there are terms to this where they are anticipating a payment on a future date, this would be an accounts payable transaction. Okay, and the description of this would be 210. It's just what's given in the question. 210 and 30, and then FOB shipping point or shipping. Okay. So what this basically means is that if you would pay it back within 10 days, you get a 2% discount. The entire payment is due in 30 days, and the FOB shipping point, which I believe is new for this unit, and you probably would have forgotten by the time you're reviewing this. It stands for free on board, and it basically means where the responsibility for shipping shifts hands. So if it's FOB shipping point, that means we're responsible from the shipping point, so we pay for the transportation of the goods. Okay, and the value they gave for this was 9,000. Okay, so next transaction, March 2nd. I'm not too sure what's going on there. Cap lock, whoops. March 2nd. Okay, so the correct company pays $155 for the shipping charges. Okay, so we know that we are the correct company, so we put inventory down. And the reason it's inventory here is because when you're doing a perpetual inventory system, any necessary costs for the inventory, we're able to debit them because we're measuring the cost of inventory, not the value of inventory. That's like the concept is a little bit different from what we've done previously, but shouldn't be new for you since you've already done this course. Okay, and then we'll call this freight March 2nd. Okay, and the amount is $155. That's just given to us by the question. Okay, so next transaction happened on March 3rd. Stellar returns $1,000 of merchandise purchased on March 1st because it was the wrong color. Octagon gives Stellar a 1,000 credit on its account. Since the credit is on account, we're not receiving cash, so we can debit accounts payable. Since we owe them $1,000 less. And then we have to credit inventory since we're getting $1,000 less, we're getting $1,000 less of inventory. And the description for this would just be returned goods on account. Not too complicated yet. Okay, and then we skip all the way down to March 21st because that's when the next journal entry occurs. So March 21st, what happens here? So Stellar Store purchases an additional 13,000 of merchandise for resale from Octagon Wholesaler, and the terms are the same as the previous question, just instead it's FOB destination this time. Okay, so March 21st, I will be inventory. Oh, that was not my best spelling. Inventory and accounts payable. Okay, and our description on this will just be the terms of the transaction, 210 and 30, and then FOB destination. Okay, so just a little review. FOB destination means we're not responsible for it since we are the destination. So Octagon will be paying the entire fee of them shipping it to us. Okay, and then how much money was it? 13,000. One too many zeros. Set that equal. Set that equal Cool. Okay, so the next one is the correct company pays $170 for freight charges. So we are not the correct company here, and you don't have to do this if you're doing this in any other example or on a test. Please do not do this on a test. But I'm just going to write down no transaction. Just kind of so you can remember that FOB destination means that we are not responsible for it as the business receiving. If we were on the other end, we'd be paying for this, but luckily we are not. Okay, so moving on to the 23rd, seller returns $400 of merchandise purchased on the 21st because it was damaged. Octagon gives seller a $400 credit on its account. This is we basically did this transaction previously, so it's not too big of a deal. So accounts payable, and then inventory. Atrocious spelling. Okay, and the amount for this, I'm just looking at the question, is 400. And then our description, I'm just going to copy and paste it from the question above. It'll be the exact same. Okay, and then on March 30th, that's our next transaction. Seller paid Octagon the amount owing for merchandise purchased on March 1st. Okay, so March 1st, let's go back up there. So it is due now, and we do not receive the discount. So this is a pretty straightforward transaction. We're just clearing our accounts payable balance for the March 1st transaction with cash. And the description would be paid for March 1st. Okay. And you might think that we're just going to do the 9,000, but obviously that's not the case because we did have a return. So there we go. 8,000 is our total amount. Just put that equal in cash. Okay, and then our last transaction for this question happened on March 31st. And it was seller paid Octagon the amount owing for merchandise purchased on March 21st. Okay, so we are within the 10-day window here, just barely. So we need to include our discount. But first, I just want to lay out the groundwork for the question, which is accounts payable, and then cash. And then a good place to start whenever you're doing one of these is figuring out how much you're paying, or how much you're debiting accounts payable. So in this case, it will be this minus the amount we returned, which is 12,600 total. And then we do receive the 2% discount, so this is super easy. We need to find 98% of the original price. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we are crediting the inventory account. And we're crediting the inventory account because it represents how much you paid for the good, not the actual value. Okay, and then we can just make this balance by subtracting those. Yeah, and that's it. It's not too complicated. Hopefully you don't struggle with this in the future. I feel like I kind of covered all of the possible transactions in this video. And yeah, that's gonna wrap everything up, I guess.